A long time ago, there was a poor man in a village who could not be described. He worked as a washerwoman, but he was known throughout Bulgaria for his honesty. One day, the king heard the story of her honesty, so he ordered her to be brought to his palace. The king said, "We want you to wash the clothes of my wife and children from today." Yusuf said, "May God protect you, sir. This is my good fortune, and I will do this work with all sincerity." The king said, "This is what we ask of you, and remember that trusts in this palace are everything." Yusuf said, "I have trusted my father and the poor man, and they swore that we would betray a kunhat in the trust, even if it would cost me my life." From that day on, he was described as washing the clothes of the king's family and living his life. One day, while he was on his way to the palace, he saw a small, weak deer that was almost dying of thirst. He said, "Who caused you to be in this state? You are very beautiful. That is, your sleep." He is described as running to a nearby pond and fetching water and purity. After drinking the water, some activity returned to the little deer. The deer said, "Thank you very much, good man, for saving my life." He prepared to be described and said, "You speak. This is a strange thing. How can a deer speak the human language?" Then the deer said, "It is described well. Let that tell me how you got it here." The deer said, "I have been separated from my mother for a few days now, and he has been hungry for food, and I have sought weakness so that I can walk again." And he was very afraid. He said, "It is described." The deer said, "You are a good and generous person. If you want me, I will help you one day." Yusuf Dak said, from the topic of help, "Tell me that I can hide the flower of anyone." The deer said, "If you are able to give me a little food and water every day, I will never forget this kindness, and I will help you one day." "Don't talk about charity," Yusuf said, "because now I work in the king's palace and I can do this for a friend. Don't worry about letting anyone find out about you. Now I have to go, so take care of yourself that day," work that is described as very diligent in the palace. When he was returning to his home in the evening, one of the soldiers saw him and the soldier said, "Stop, let me give him these papers." Upon learning that stealing something from the king's garden or kuba, Helmut was afraid that he would be described and put a stick at his feet and said, "Excuse me, sir, I did not steal." The soldier said, "No, do not do this. You will lose your source of livelihood." If he hesitated, he told someone, he did as if, and then he said, "It's up to you. Either you pay or go to jail. Nothing in this world is profitable." He said, "It is described well, yes Edie. Your snuffs every day are made of silver. Take this piece today." From that day on, Yuwat al-Jandik began to pay the blood money every day. The small deer takes the food and water. He said to him, "Be honest and don't be shy about it." The deer said, with kindness, "How indescribable that you suffer so much for me. How will I return this world to you? You look worried every day." Yusuf Yazil al-Aziz said, "Don't talk about the world. Just recover quickly." On the day of either being encouraged or described, the soldier said, "Sir, I no longer have money. So I can give you more widget. I will bring the leaf from the forest for my baby deer. What else can I do?" The soldier said to lie. He said it was described as fear. "No, please, sir. Understand me," the soldier said. "Stop this act. You won't escape me." The soldier went directly to the minister one day and tell him everything with exaggeration. The minister came immediately. Yusuf fell at his feet and said, "Mr. Minister, I cut him off, but I didn't do it intentionally. I just took some leaves from a dumb animal. The line is more accurate than that. The minister said. She named. If you don't want to go to prison, you have to pay in addition to what you entrusted to the soldier. That is, 2 blocks of silver daily. He said it is described. Mr. Minister. He said it is described. I have nothing left. Where are you from with all this money? The minister said. This is not what I mean. Starting tomorrow, I want 2 pieces of silver. Otherwise the obstacle will be bad. And do not forget that the soldier's settlement is his share as well. He became described as very anxious. With difficulty, he paid money to the minister. His condition was not hidden from the little deer. The deer said, "Why do you look sad? That is always described. There must be something you're hiding from me. Then you tell me that there is a big deal in it. If you consider me your friend, everything is true. A true friend is one who stands with you in times of distress. And what I can do and help you." He said, "It is described. Believe me, forgive me. I have done mastications, even mother. But today I won't be able to pamper you with food." I no longer have anything to do with the minister and the soldier. The deer said excitedly. I say this for my food. I didn't even try to know how much she was suffering because of me. He said it is described. Don't believe me, don't be sad. You don't have any blood. I was just worried how I would give it to you. The deer said, my condition is described. You helped me so much. Now it's my turn. I will destroy your poverty forever. Yusuf said in amazement. How is that? Do you have a treasure? The deer said, I will give you. He said, it is described. Oh my God. Plant of gold. Where do we come from? It gives you the impression that it is real gold. Am I dreaming? The deer said, this is the fruit of yours so that it can be described. Even nature stands with the truthful. When you plant it. Then he said, but remember the important thing. This plant grows quickly. At night, some of its leaves fall by themselves. You can lose collecting those cards. And never follow it during the day. And you will fall into great misfortune. And add. When I was in the woods, I saw 2 beautiful girls. So I hid behind a tree. I heard their conversation. They said that they came to Earth after a long journey. And the place is beautiful. So they decided to plant some plants here. After I planted it, I flew it away. So I took one of those plants for you. Yusuf said. To inject your best friend. This is Joseph home with the plant. But he was confused. Where does he plant it? Plant it outside the house. The people of a village will take him. They do not have a security code. Then he said, yes. It is better to plant it in the palace garden. Here, gold and silver can be protected. And when the king in Aura came, he went. I will be happy and rewarded. And my poverty ends forever. The next day, I started digging a hole in the garden of the Zahran palace. But the minister saw him and said, you idiot. What are you doing to our God? Then wash the clothes. The minister's mind was filled with greed, and he said, leaves of gold. Maybe you are fooling me. If this is a lie, I will punish you severely. Say it is described. He doesn't help me. This is healthy. You can alienate yourself. We just have to put him in a safe place. The minister thought to herself. If this is true, then all the gold will be mine. I will not leave these stories alone. Good article. You can plant it here. But whatever comes out of it will be half mine. Did you understand? Yusuf agreed. He told the minister everything the deer had said. The papers are just collected on them. And do not gather my days. But the minister did not refrain from this. And after a few days, the plant has become a beautiful tree. And its leaves are made of gold, like the moon. And at night when some leaves fell, he started describing their collection and said, Mr. Minister, look how beautiful these leaves are. We collect it. And as soon as he began to describe it by collecting it, even the minister shouted in our loud voice, "Soldiers!" Yusuf was amazed and said, "Mr. Minister, what are you saying?" I didn't scream. He said, "It is described. This is not highly agreed upon." The minister said arrogantly, "No agreement. There is an agreement from mullahs. Drop. Even before today. I was tired of this garden." He said, "It is described." No. The minister writes, "I am the one who visited my covenant of the tree. He was the one who allowed this. Ask him." The minister said, "Soldiers, take him to the king," and he revealed all his acting there. Yusuf said to himself, "Ya Allah, what happened to me? I have always lived honestly. However, I was deceived. I don't know what bad advice this is." He went to the baby deer. And he told him everything that happened. And he's crying. The deer said, "This is a bad thing to describe. But you are one of our mistakes. I trusted that greedy minister. He said it is described." Yes. If I had listened to you, this wouldn't have happened. The deer said, "Wearing. Be greedy and lying does not last long. The truth will come out one day." He said, "It is described." But how? And on the other side, the minister collected or purified gold, and the next day, he took her to the king's council and said, "You Mo'olay, I brought you a unique gift." The king said, "Yes, minister. We have noticed it for a long time. We are a tree in our garden. Issued by India. They didn't steal it." The minister said, "You Mo'olay, this is not an Adi tree. Rather, it is a tree from the world of fairies. I got it after a lot of effort. And I planted it here. This is a bouquet of its golden leaves." The king took the bouquet. They kept turning to her and answering and saying, "How beautiful it is. We've never seen anything like this before." The minister said, "You Mo'olay, this tree has golden leaves. Call me from. Its fragrance brings comfort to the soul." The king said, "Yes, minister. We didn't know that. Our queens are Dakin men. And Amin al-Mathlauk, you deserve a reward." "Great. Take 100 pieces of gold." Since that day, the minister was collecting important papers. He presents it to the king. It happens every day. 100 pieces of gold. He became very rich. But his enjoyment increased. And one day, he went to the tree. He cut its leaves with his hands during the day, and when he made it a bouquet and presented it to the king, "Try those papers." To 2 black snakes. The king was amazed and said, "What's up? How did this snake escape? You scammer. How dare you submit to the snake instead of flowers?" And he ordered the soldiers, saying, "Take him away from me." The minister was imprisoned. The minister began to regret it and said, "What did you do?" "I deceived myself with my greed. Yusuf warned me. But I didn't hear no. And in one of the highest. Once upon a time, heaven comes above the palace. They searched me for a tree. They said, 'Amduri, the fairy tree is here in the palace.' It seems that someone heard a conversation. Or Saraka. We have to find someone who knows the story. He must come soon. To collect its leaves." Since that day, the whole family started hiding me near the tree, and in the family there is water. The princess came walking around in the garden and said, "What a beautiful tree. How she came to my father's garden. Its leaves make you shine with stars." And the one who approached and touched it, she saw the 2 fairies and said so. "This is the thief." A fatal blow struck her. The king saw his daughter in bay with a burning expression and said, "His daughter. What happened to him? Who did this?" "Tamkil. All this because of that greedy minister." Someone row. So the minister was released from prison. The king said to him angrily, "You traitor. Because as I adopted it. Tell me the truth. The path of this tree. And I will fight like a lion." A minister feared for his life. So he confessed everything. The king said, "Why are you deceitful to this iron? You fool us. The injustice of that simple man is evident. This malicious minister promises tomorrow morning. Someone immediately opened the washing machine in front of us. And in the forest when he saw the soldier deer, they took care of themselves. He followed them to the palace. The soldiers said, Yoshev, because of your magic trees, the princess didn't die. And you are responsible for her death. The deer said, Oh my God, don't keep track of Yashev. He is completely wild. The king and everyone present were amazed at how Gasoline spoke. And he said, Who are you? Why are you defending this criminal? The king said, Gasoline speaks. What is this? The deer said, Oh my God, we are confident that it is a crime. Tinhama is the one who did this. They are the only ones who can help me. Princess Habit back to life. The king said, Can my daughter come back to life? You really say that? The deer said, Yes, mother, and no. But we need him in Yashev for some time. So the king released Yosef. And the deer, Yashev said, Believe me, I have to lead a life again. What will we do now? The deer said, We have to find a way to save the princess. I have a plan, but it is. You need courage. And be patient. On you, Yoshev, to do as I say absolutely, without being afraid. Yoshev looked. To the deer he said confidently, Don't worry. I will do everything I can. Save her. Even if he was in it. Danger to life, and in those peaceful night, where the moon was. He judged the names of his faint light. He sneaked in to see Bado. Given placed the two fairies. And his heart started beating fast. But he didn't back down. And when I discovered the two fairies, their magic wand, she disappeared. She said it with concern and anger. Where are we, Asana? Who dared to take it? And we ripen well. She is human though. She hummed. The power of me is a story. You look stubborn. So we can do something. They want it. So Yosef came out of his hiding place. And his heart is pounding. But steadily. Stick with me. I will not return it except with good news. I looked at the two fairies. She said it angrily. How do they dose a person? Humble yourselves, and we will represent two people. Yashev said. I will not return the stick until you bring back the princess. It did not treat you as a tree as they wronged. Rather, she was trying to help others. The fairies said stubbornly. Let's bring the Caliphata back to life. She was taken from our tree without permission. This is a big mistake. Yosef began to tell them the whole story. And how the princess sacrificed herself. For the sake of others, she was not as selfish as she thought. While the two fairies were listening, anger began to roar in my heart. She tries to be sad and regretful. Turn the sound down. We were not true. We judged her quickly. Without understanding what happened. Then she said it. You good human being. Forgive us. We have wronged her. And you're right too. Yashev said, if you are a really solid performer. They restored her life. This is justice. Then he said hesitantly. But if you take the tree, what will happen to me? Sad as poor as I was, I will have nothing. The two fairies smiled and said, Don't worry. Because the reward of one who does good deeds is not lost. And the reward for your honesty. He will come to you in a way. Don't expect it. Little idea. Then he said to himself. I would have stayed silent. In exchange for leading my life. It's okay. Lives are more precious than money. He raised his head. He said confidently, I agree. A feast for you. Just the princess's day. To modesty. So the two fairies took the stick. And moved it slowly. Anwar Sadier seemed bored. The place. As if I wanted to live again. After a few moments. Usually a princess. Otherwise, modesty. She slowly opened her eyes. She looked around curiously. She said. Ina I. What happened? And who are you? The fairies said kindly. I've got a new life. Thanks to this young man bravely described. And at that moment, The news reached the king. Musa came quickly, and when we heal, we end up alive. Imama. He couldn't help himself. He cried with great joy and said, "My daughter. Is this a solution or a reality?" The king said as he hugged her. "My daughter. Female. You are alive. Thank God." The princess said, pointing at Isuf. "He refuses. All this thanks to Yusuf. He was the one who risked his life. And talked to the two fairies. So lead me." The king looked at Wasif with great awe. And he approached him. He hugged him and said, "You both couldn't do it. Someone in Ali, be encouraged and honest." He said he was described as humble. Oh my God. I deserve a princess. I actually agreed with you. Why should I have a hug? The king said wisely. Everything comes with money. Not by lineage, with good deeds and honesty. I succeeded in this great test. Then he said, he has proven that greatness. Not in wealth, but in a good heart. Princess Bakajalan said. And he believed. What a description. You are not as deceived as you thought. A noble human being. Time to gain volatility with your honesty, and your courage. The king smiled and said in a high voice. From today, he won't just let you be described. He is described as Sultan. Everyone was happy with this decision. And the palace was filled with happiness. Yusuf married the princess. And live a life full of love and comfort in that palace. Where he was working that day. He was deceived by his foresight. And so on. I took away his honesty. And his kindness kept his heart at bay. To Hayata. Full of pride and dignity. And he became an example. For everyone who believes in goodness. It is never lost. I resign as a condolence. From which country are you watching this video? What do you think of this story? Share your opinions in the comments. And subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching. And to another story.